Yeah, this your big partner Al Cam. You listening to Elation Radio with Kimmy Kim on Jerry West Live. Worldwide jams, vibes, and radio on FavorNetwork.net. Follow them on blogtalkradio.com/Elation Magazine, or you can contact them at elationmagazine@gmail.com. Elation Radio is known worldwide for lifting up people everywhere. So stay locked, and we'll be right back after this music. Holla.
It was your love that lifted me, 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 when I couldn't take it, when I could make it, oh, when I could take it, yes, when I could make it, oh, what love, yes, what peace, yes, what joy He gives. I was thinking deep in sin, for from the peaceful shore, yeah, very deeply, stay with me, they get to rise, no, but the master of the sea heard my despairing cry. From the water He lifted me. Now say, bear my what peace, yeah, what joy, yes, He gives. Oh, I call you holy, I call you faithful, Lord. You are so wonderful to me, yes you are. You're mighty, oh, you're faithful, yes you are, Lord. You holy, holy, you're holy, you're holy, yes you are, you're holy, Yes, you are. Oh, 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 holy. Has lifted me. What love, what love, what love. What love has set me free. Set me free. What love. Oh,
Wow, wow, wow. Beautiful, beautiful song. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to Crisis. I'm actually the co-host of Crisis this evening. I am Christina Eve. We have Doc. It might be somewhere on the line. He might be kind of coming in and out, but I just wanted to greet y'all, say hi, God bless you. That was an amazing song. I'm excited about tonight. We apologize for starting a little bit late, but we are here. And tonight, fantastic show. We actually recorded this beautiful lady last night for our Crisis on our TV shows on Sundays on Arizona TV, Channel 7. So we had to ask her to come tonight to be able to share again with all of you. And she's just such an inspiring woman. But without further ado, I really, because we're running a little bit late, sorry to be rushing a little bit this morning. Hello. Sorry to be rushing a little bit right now. It's Friday. But, all right. Are you on the line?
Yes, I'm here. How are you this evening?
Yay! And I wasn't going to say your name because Doc messed it up so much on the show. Can you please introduce yourself to us tonight?
Yes, my name is Shanice Holling, and thank you for having me on the show tonight.
Yes, thank you, thank you. Yes, so and how are you today?
I am blessed and highly favored, and I am glad that I could be on the show tonight, so I appreciate you guys for, just giving me the opportunity to come on and bless you and share my story.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, that's, it's just, we have to kind of go through things sometimes to be able to, with Doc, with what, with being the creator, and he's actually with the No More DV and everything that he's doing with that. He's so passionate about this and, bringing people together in the community. And, we see him posting and talking all the time. And just to have this alone, when he first spoke to me about the idea and us coming together and me being a survivor myself, it's just, it's so relevant right now for everything that, it's before we want, we're breaking the silence, we're breaking that silence and having people share. And it's every single time, every single story that we hear, it's, it pushes us that much more, to share more and to, bring more people on board. So thank you so much for being here. And I know it's not easy to share either, kind of reliving things and but there's healing in that because for yourself and then for others, for those that are listening, because I was truly blessed. Listening to you last night, I was just like, wow. And then seeing and hearing. So let's just move into, because I, from last night, but we have more time, than we did for the show. So just please share a little bit about yourself, just, how, your experience began and, we'll just go from there.
Okay, awesome. Well, my name is Shanice Hollins once again. I'm a United States Army veteran, a mother of 3 beautiful children, an entrepreneur, a motivational speaker, and, my journey started in, when I was about 23 years old. I was married. I went through a domestic violence relationship with during that marriage. And at that time, I was also, in the military. So a lot of times when you're in certain positions, you don't feel like speaking up is a good thing. And at that time, being that position that I was in, I couldn't speak up because of the simple fact I was afraid. I was afraid of, not only losing that credibility with my soldiers, with my command, I was also afraid of losing respect as a woman and as a wife, by saying something. I felt that I had to be loyal to my husband more so than to myself. So that's when it started. It started then. I was also pregnant when it started. I was about 2, 3, 4 months pregnant, and it was about 3 years after I had been married. And, it was more so, it was subtle in the beginning. It was more so, an outburst. He would get mad, and it was more so the verbal abuse in the beginning. And it started to slowly but surely go into the physical abuse. And it was from verbal, emotional, physical, and then financial.
Wow. Well, how did you? Because I just cringe. I mean, hearing abuse and being pregnant. Well, abuse period doesn't belong in a sentence at all with anything. But as far as hearing abuse and pregnancy, my stomach turns. I mean, it's just, how did you deal with that at the time? Because I remember experiencing something. I was a little bit further on and had a coffee mug thrown at me. And I remember wrapping my arms around my belly, like literally just, that was my, shielding. But you endured this through your marriage. So how did you, cope? I mean, were you more in denial or, can you share with us about that?
Most definitely. So you say you were hit with a coffee mug. At the time, one time I was hit with a business marketing book. I was just sharing that with someone, and it was thrown at my nose. And my nose, that was the first time I ever had a nosebleed in my entire life.
Wow.
Had a nosebleed and was spitting up blood, and I just kept, telling myself, like, this can't be real. He's just angry. It's okay, and I literally told myself that it will be okay. And the way I coped with it was, just continuing to dive my nose in books, in school, taking extra classes, doing personal development, being focused on my career, just trying to move up ranks as fast as possible, just, doing a lot of other things outside of focusing on what was going on in my marriage or per se my household.
Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Wait, hello? Are we there? Are we on? Hello?
Yes, we're here. I'm here.
Oh, okay. I must have. Yeah, I don't know what happened with my phone because I'm pacing. I'm listening to you like pacing, and something happened with my phone really quick about that. Wow. So how? I mean, because there's a lot of gosh, this is crazy because there's a lot of things that we experience and go through, and hearing from you because you were in the military. So, it's different as far as having, because you have that responsibility, like you're saying, you're, at this point, you were a staff sergeant. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. I was at the time, and it was very hard because, it's kind of hard when you're at a certain position or certain point in your career where you don't feel like you have anyone that you can trust to go to and talk to about certain situations without putting your business out in the streets or, out to people. That's something that you just don't want. And that was something that I just had to kind of keep to myself. I had to keep it to myself. And at the time I was stationed in D.C., and I got orders to Strike Force NATO in Naples, Italy, so I ended up going to Italy, and I kid you not, it became even more, even worse. because then at that time he had lost his job. While I was still in the military, he lost his position in the military in D.C. Then over there,
Oh, wow.
he didn't have a job. So it was like, okay, he was angry, he was upset, of where he was in his life, and, seeing me progress in life and seeing that, he really wasn't having that progression. And at the time, of course, I'm focused on family, I'm focused on God, I'm focused on my career as well. He didn't have that full undivided attention because of the fact that, of course, I had to take care of everyone else around me as well. So it caused a lot of, tension, a lot of different issues. He was just always angry. He was always angry. And it was to the point where people around us would see it, people in my command, people on the base, they would say, call him Angry Man because he was always angry. And at the time I never understood that, it wasn't me, it was just who he was. It was what he had been through. It was his childhood pain, his childhood anger. I just always blame myself. I used to be like, well, maybe I could do this better, or maybe I could do that better. I always blame myself for it. So that was another thing of how I coped. I would just, always think it was me. I would always apologize if he did something wrong. I'd be like, you know what? I'm sorry, babe. I thought it was me until, I realized that it wasn't me, and it took years. It took years and years to figure out that, no, it wasn't me. It was actually him. It was the anger that he had, it stemmed from childhood. He was a foster child for a moment. He had his mom passed when he was 7. He didn't meet his dad till his dad was 13, and his dad put him in a home. So who knows what happened? He could have been, sexually abused or abused physically. Most of the time when people have some type of abuse or there are abusers, they have been abused at some point in their life.
I was just going to make that point. So those that are listening, and I do want to make a point as well, I love the fact that you had mentioned, because I think we all have that natural tendency to blame ourselves, to look in the mirror and think, what are you doing wrong? Or, we start trying to look inward, like, okay, what do I need to do better? And we do. We apologize for him being upset, or we apologize for, because we're wanting to be the peacemakers, or wanting to, I think we're naturally nurturing. We have that innate desire, let's take care of household. And so now, I'm not doing this right and that right. And, maybe I could do this different or that more or this better. But like what you had said, and I'm so glad that you brought that point up, is that we don't realize whether they're, man or woman, we have no idea that they themselves can be victims, that are causing abuse. It's not justifying their abusive nature or behavior, but there is an underlying cause. So we all have, there's an underlying cause or reason that has, triggers them, like what you were explaining, like, so through his childhood, things that, and we don't know, it's very, very unfortunate, but I'm glad that you had mentioned that because, and you said it, it took me a while as well, but it does. And then once you get to that point where, no, that person is the one that has a problem. That person is the one that is causing harm. And, especially changing the words from I'm not a victim, I'm, just kind of, and just, so thank you for bringing those 2 points up. Yeah, that is, for those that are listening, that way, they can understand that. Wow. So now you have, fast forwarding, so you have one child now, or how many children?
No, I have 3
because
girls.
you're in Italy. Oh, wow.
Yes, I have 3 girls. I have a 6-year-old, 12, and 14-year-old.
Wow. So how were your children dealing with this at the time?
At the time, well, of course, when I was in D.C., I only had 2 children at the time. They didn't deal with it too well. They were kind of small. So one was like maybe 3 and the other was 4. going on 5. And they saw a lot, especially my eldest daughter. She saw a lot. So, she was always, it brought them closer to me, especially my eldest daughter, because she was just like, always like, Mommy, why are you crying? She always wanted to know, why did Daddy hit you? She always asked me, why did Daddy hit you? Why did Daddy hit you? That's not okay. And she would say things like, that's not okay. Daddy is mean. Daddy is mean, So it would hurt me. It would tear me up. I would be in tears because I didn't know how to explain to them at that age that, Daddy has some issues. I would tell them, like, it's okay. Daddy has some issues. And, we just have to pray for Daddy. That's what I used to tell my daughters. And I would sit and we would read our Bible and we would pray together. We would go to church together. I'm like, every time we have to pray for Daddy. When we go to sleep, we have to pray for Daddy. So, even on days when he would go out and get drunk and do different things or be in a strip club and come home and want to fight and argue, it got to a point where it was normal. It was just
like a routine, right?
It was a routine,
yeah.
And it was like, okay, well, here it goes, again. Or, when I got to Italy, it was a little different because we actually lived on a military installation for a while. And it was different because we were so close to everyone, and everyone could see what was going on. People would come up and say, hey, what's going on? Why is your husband so angry? Why is he always fighting? He would fight in the clubs in Italy. He would fight other people. So it wasn't just me. He just had anger issues. And then one day, I believe, I was like maybe 3 or 4 months pregnant with my 6-year-old. She's 6 now. And I was just laying on the couch doing something, and he came and said something to me and got so upset that he hit me in the face with a computer. Through the computer at my face. So, of course, I had a black eye. I had all types of stuff all over my face. I still have the scars to show, different cuts that were in my face, in my skin.
Wow.
That next day, I believe that next morning, I didn't even go to work. I didn't go to work. I didn't show up to formation with my soldiers and everything. And I think my first sergeant called me and was like, Sergeant Williams, where are you? Why, you didn't show up to formation. I was like, hey, I'm sick. He's like, oh, okay, make sure you go to sick call. And then the next day it happened again, and I didn't show up for formation. So at that time, my first sergeant and sergeant major, they came to my house. They was like, wow. This is not like her. She's a stellar soldier. She never misses a formation. She never goes to sick call. She's always happy to be at PT, doing PT with the soldiers.
Yeah, something's going on. Let's go find out. I like that because they took that initiative, yeah.
Yes, they came looking for me, and that was when, other people found out, or they found out that I was going through a domestic violence situation. So I never told anyone. It was just like it happened. They came, I let them in, and I didn't want to let them in, but they brought the MPs to open the door. And the MPs opened my door, and that's when they found out.
How did you feel at this point with them literally, like now, because reality sets in? They know. Those 2 words right there, I will never forget that moment on my end, because we, with us, it was like church and, the same thing. Like you just learn to operate. What happens at home stays at home, and you just learn to operate, outside of that. But how was that for you? I mean, here they are. They're in your door. I mean, in your house. They're looking at you. That reality hits that now they know. Was there a relief at this point, or because you're in the military? So, how was that at that point now?
No, it wasn't relief at all. Actually, I was kind of upset because I'm like, well, now they know. My soldiers are going to know. Who else is going to know?
Okay.
It was the whole thing of, I didn't want people knowing my business. So, I'm more of a, private person when it comes to home. like, community, all the other stuff, business. Yeah, I'm out there with that. But when it comes to home, I just didn't believe in things being out in the open like that. So I was really, really upset. They were looking for my husband, and I just, at the time, I just did not want them to even hold that conversation with him. My first sergeant, we were very, very close, he's an old school Georgia boy. That's what they called him. So he was like, that's not what men do, and he's a Q dog. So he one of the manly men, he said, that's not what men do, How about I knock him out, or I put my hands on him? He like, you too beautiful for him to put his hands on you.
And you're pregnant, right?
Yeah, he was
upset. And you're
so
pregnant.
They went searching for him. They wanted to fight him. So it wasn't like, okay, let's do the protocol type of deal. It was like, look, we're going to fight him. He is civilian.
Oh, no, yeah.
So let's beat him up. So, yeah.
Wow. So now what transpired then to out of that, though? Because what had to take place?
Well, some things happened after that because, I told them I didn't want to, like, press charges or get them locked up because at the same time, this is still my husband. So at that time, I end up, after I healed up and everything, end up going back to work. A couple of weeks later, he got caught doing some things he wasn't supposed to on the base. And this is, this is how God works. God will move people or remove things from your life when they're not supposed to be there. Whether it's, a person, place, business, whatever it is. If you don't move, God will end up moving them out your life or removing the things out your life. And that's basically what happened. He got charged with some things on the base, and the base commander, I was an Army person on the naval base. The naval installation commander gave my command, the Army command, a document stating that Staff Sergeant Williams' husband can no longer be on this base. He can no longer go on any naval installation, period. So, once I received that document, guess what? They had to ship him back to the States. So that's how we end up separating. I was still in Italy pregnant with the two, little babies, at the time. They had to be maybe 5 and 6. I had them by myself along with being pregnant with another baby. So I was just there in Italy by myself for a while until I transitioned out. My ex-husband came back to the States first, and then that's when the financial abuse started. It was more, I need money for this, I need money for that. I'm in the States by myself. I don't have this, I don't have that. So he was just taking money. Then he was telling everybody, oh, she's not giving me money, she's not doing this, she's not doing that. So the financial abuse started after that. It's like, oh, I need money to make sure that we have this when you come back, or make sure we have that when you come back. But guess what? When I came to the States, we had nothing. I actually moved in here with my sister, my eldest sister, and her husband. And at the time, she was going through a situation with her husband, and they up and left. So myself and my daughters ended up in a shelter in Loma Prieta, here in Arizona. So end up in a shelter, end up, separating from my ex-husband. No family out here, no support system, none whatsoever. So we were in a pretty bad position.
Yeah, wow. And at this point, did you have the third baby already, your daughter, or like coming back to the States? Were you?
No, I was 8 months when I got back. I
was
7.5 months pregnant. I was 8 months. I had just got accepted into Arizona State, and I was going to school at 8 months pregnant and still in the shelter.
See, and that right there, I really need to address that, because you have this drive in you. You are, this ambition and this drive that no matter what. I mean, if you can please give just a few words to those that are listening that, I mean, I can't imagine. I was in a women's shelter with my daughter, and I was actually just the way it was, to me, it was very hard because, the girls that, and not all shelters are the same. This is just my personal experience with my child, was that, some of these girls were stealing from each other. There was drug use, it was, and they have closed that, shelter. Another one had opened that was new management. But that was just my experience for that particular place. So the last thing I thought was like, go to school or anything like that. I mean, so what pushed you then to as far as school? And I mean, you just seemed that you carried this, this ambition and this drive in you. So how did that, I don't even know how to ask a question on that. Just because I want people to hear from you and learn from you, because I know they're hearing your story, but if you can share with them, like, what would push a woman to, like, as far as, like, pursue education or to, I mean, here, because you're on, a very, very bad position, being pregnant with your two young daughters as well, and you're in the no family around, and yet you're going to school.
Well,
that's amazing. That's amazing in itself. Go ahead.
Well, thank you so much for the first things first. I had already, got accepted into ASU before I came to Arizona. So, in May, I got accepted into ASU. June, I was moving here. That was my main purpose of moving, was to come, pursue my degree. I had received the Nina Mason Pulliam Scholarship, for a disabled veteran returning to school, or, a person over 25 returning to school to get their degree. I also had my GI Bill at the time. So in order to receive that GI Bill, of course, I had to go to school. And being in the shelter, waiting on the Army to, the VA to pay money and different things of that nature, I had to go to school in order to even receive any funds from the VA, so that way I can get out of my situation. On top of that, being in La Mesita, it was a shelter. It wasn't an open bay. It was more, looked like little apartments almost.
Oh,
but
okay.
Inside
That's
of those
nice.
little, they were real small. They looked like a little, hut, like a one-bedroom type of thing with a kitchenette and shower, but there was no AC. It's the middle of the summer. It's June, 115, 120-degree weather. They had swamp coolers. So, there was no AC unit, swamp coolers, taking 3 showers a day. My best bet was to stay out of the shelter and be at school. So I took, 4 or 5 classes. I would go to the Starbucks. After I got out of class, I would get my daughters because I finally got a car. I went to this place back to the school until the time of the shelter's hours, because they had a set time you had to be back. And I believe it was like 9 o'clock at night, and we would literally stay out, and we would stay on ASU campus, eat on ASU campus, reading books. So it was basically like we lived on ASU campus. My daughters lived on ASU campus.
Wow, that is incredible. Wow, because even though that was your way, like as far as like your GI and, like as far as you being able to get that money, and, there's a lot of women, though, that would have just thrown the towel in, just thrown the towel in. Like, I don't, the last thing I want to do is pursue an education at this point, or, so I just commend you. Wow, that's amazing. So now, we're just going to get ready to close out here. We have like 15 more minutes, and I really want to hear about, because you shared a little bit about what you're doing now and what's going on with you. I mean, that's amazing. So here you went to school, you got a degree, and then what?
So since I've been out of school, I've been, became an entrepreneur. I actually had started my own travel company. Was doing great things with that. Now I'm getting ready to launch in another travel company. It's the biggest project of my life. It's called Project 1000. I want to be able to help 1,000 families get to an income where they are comfortable and on a journey to wealth. So I am super excited. I'm pumped up about it. I'm also, working on a book that I want to have out, and I'm putting this into the universe by my birthday, by August 4th. I want that to be the launch date of the book. Not only that, just, being a community activist in the community, helping other people. That's what I love to do. Being a nurturer, helping the youth in the community. I used to do a lot of volunteering at my daughter's school with the, kids in her class and different things of that nature. I just kind of stopped in the past couple of months, because I had a little downtime, but I'm getting ready to get back active in doing that along with a lot of other different things in the community. So I'm pretty excited about what's going on and kind of the turn that my life is going. So.
Yeah, that is exciting. Wow, my goodness, that's amazing. And then your daughters, were they ever affected by, things that they had witnessed and what they had experienced with you? Is that something that
I'm sure they were. I'm sure they were. Of course, a lot of times we don't know. We've been in counseling. I went to individual counseling myself. I still go to counseling, to be completely honest, at the VA. And I see a counselor, so for PTSD. And a lot of people, they don't, know about PTSD. Most people think that post-traumatic stress disorder comes from, just being in the military in a combat zone or different things of that nature. But that's not true. Post-traumatic stress disorder can affect people in so many different ways. It can come from childhood abuse. It can come from being sexually molested as a child. It could come from, abuse as an adult. It could come from a rape. It could come from so many
being
different
robbed.
things. Yes, it can come from so many different things. Being, robbed at gunpoint or being shot at some, period of time in your life. So that's,
for those that don't know, could you describe, explain a little bit of what post-traumatic stress, like PTSD, could you explain a little bit what that is? That way they could have a better understanding. Like some people, don't know what that is.
Well, yes, most definitely. Post-traumatic stress disorder can cause a lot of different things. It can cause anxiety. It can cause depression. It can cause sleep disorders. I've had a sleep disorder for a very long time where I couldn't sleep at night. It can cause people to be jumpy, be paranoid. For a long time, I would be paranoid. For a very long time, I was always paranoid. In the middle of the night, checking my daughter's doors. I make my daughters lock their doors at night. I'm always checking the door downstairs in my home. Like I would look out the window in the middle of the night or get up or be, just looking around a lot of different times. It causes a lot of different things, and especially anxiety. I know a lot of people that have had PTSD who have anxiety attacks. I went through depression on and off for a very long time, and that's the reason why I continue to, seek counseling and different things of that nature, because when you think about certain things that happen at some point in time, sometimes you can get down on yourself, or you can get depressed, or you can say, why did I let this happen to me, or how did this happen to me, or what did I do to deserve this? I think that has ran through every person's mind that has been through some type of, domestic violence,
why me?
Sexual assault, or, a why me thing, that type of deal. So I've been through it all. And I know there's so many people out there who have been through it, especially there's a lot of men that have been through it as well, but they just don't speak up about it. And I just want to be able to help any and everybody. I want to be able to help the men. I want to be able to help the women, the children as well. And in my book, I'm going to be talking about, finding your voice. And it's not just about domestic violence. It's about sexual assault, rape, child abuse, MST, the military sexual trauma, and different things of that nature, because my story goes deeper. And I just didn't want to get into it because in my book, I want the readers to be able to get into it and know, and learn my full story. So I'm most definitely going to be sharing that in my story.
Yeah, so we definitely look forward to keeping in touch with you, and we, definitely share then with the men that are listening that are experiencing or have experienced some form of abuse. What would you say to them?
Well, with the men, I would love to say to any man that has ever experienced any type of abuse, it is not your fault. It doesn't make you less than a man. You are still a king. You are still who you are and who God made you to be. It's okay to talk to someone about it. It's okay to seek counseling. Don't think that because you have experienced, anything that you have experienced that you're less than. Don't think that, by you telling someone about it, it's going to make you look less than a man. Because at the end of the day, you are who God created you to be. And I just want you to reach out, seek help, because if you don't seek help, it will seep over into other things in your life. And a lot of times, abused people abuse other people. Either they choose that same route or they choose an exact opposite route. So if you've experienced that, seek help, seek counseling, talk to a, pastor, talk to a counselor, talk to someone.
Yeah, someone you trust.
And get that help that you need, someone you trust.
Yes, and the women, what would you like to tell them from your heart?
The women, it will be the same exact thing, Find somebody that you can truly trust, preferably a counselor or a pastor, someone that is going to be able to give you some sound advice, some sound encouragement, wisdom, and inspiration to move forward. And I just want to tell you that, don't be a victim. Be a victor. Tell your story. Find your voice. Turn your mess into your message and your test into your testimony. No matter what you go through, no matter the trials and tribulations that you have been through, it's for you to be able to help someone else out of that same situation. And if you don't talk to anyone about it, you can miss out on helping so many different people. And at this point, it's for you to seek help, especially for your mental, for your sanity. So seek help, reach out to someone.
Yes, amen. And that's something that, because I know, gosh, everything that you have experienced as well, just hearing from you, your spirit, meeting you, gorgeous smile. And we saw the people and the love of support that you have, especially online. I mean, so I just, pray that nothing, just, continued favors and blessings, especially as you're writing into your book and sharing. I know that's not easy, at all, but you did it. And and you do motivational speaking as well. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow, great. So how would people be able to get in touch with you and, as far as motivational speaking, if someone wants to reach out and hears this and has any questions for you, how would people get in touch with you?
Well, they can always, reach me on Facebook.com/Shanice, SHANISE Hollings, HOLLINGS. Again, that's Facebook.com/Shanice Hollings, HOLLINGS. Or they can reach me at Real Mompreneurs Love Living Blog Network. That's on Facebook as well. They can reach me there or on Real Mompreneurs Love Living on Instagram. So those are the places that I can be reached. And my email is realmompreneurslove@gmail.com. Again, that's realmompreneurslove@gmail.com.
I love that. That's almost sounds like a support group, empowerment, type. And I love that because I love the mompreneurs, I love that as far as the mompreneurs. What message do you think that you could carry then as a businesswoman to young ladies and women out there? as a survivor?
Well, the main message is that you do not have to be a victim, and you can be victorious. I always tell people, I am victory. You know, victory is my name. So that's something that I continuously say. You know, I am victory. Victory is my name. And I know that no matter what situation or circumstance, that I will be victorious over that situation and circumstance, and I will not let it keep me down. You know, because we have those days where we just want to cry, we want to sulk, we want to have a pity party. You know, we can move forward. We can move forward, and we can still be victorious regardless of any situation or circumstance.
Amen. And that's something that said too, because I know we all have that tendency to want to curl up in a ball, and you know, that pity party. You said, but I got that revelation one time when I was throwing myself a pity party. I was, you know, just crying and just, you know, that whole, oh gosh. And then, but then something just, you know, clicked in me, and I was like, wait a second, because in my spirit, I felt that I'm not celebrating this pity party by myself. You know, I just literally felt like the enemy's over here, you know, enjoying the fact that I'm sitting here in this pity party. So I threw myself up off whatever I was curled up in a ball on, couch, you know, bed. I got up, dust myself off literally, because in my mind I had to, you know, like physically, I'm dust myself off, and I have not allowed myself to succumb to that mindset or that thought again, you know, because, and that's something that I started telling my clients. It's like, hey, you know, that pity party you're throwing for yourself is not a one-man party, you know, because the enemy will, you know, celebrate those sorrows and stuff with you. So that's why we at Crisis, we celebrate the survivors of trauma, because, you know, God, and here you are, you know, you're living, walking testimony that God is able. You know, you've endured, you've persevered, you've kept your head up. And I love the fact as well that you did not teach your daughters like saying negative things about, you know, their dad, and especially what you're going through. You got the Bible out, so you were proactive and you were positive. So that is just, you're just amazing. You really, really are. So I thank you. Thank you. And do you have any final words for anybody? Is there anything else that you would like to share?
I'm grateful. I appreciate you all for just allowing me to share my story with you all. And like I stated before, let your mess be your message and your test be your testimony. And continue to say, I am victorious, and victory is my name.
Amen. Oh, wow. And we're closing it out right there. And how Doc and I, through every show at the end, whether TV or radio, we always, and yes, before we head out, I do, please tune in, Arizona TV, Channel 7, 5 p.m. every Sunday on Arizona TV. And every Friday we are here at 6 p.m. from 6 to 7 on Elation Radio, www.blogtalkradio.com/Elation Magazine. And right now, like we always say at the end of the show before we close out, agape always. Yes, agape always. Much love to everyone. And thank you again so much for being on tonight. Just much love to you and yours. God bless you. God bless everyone.
Defeated, and you're down for the count. You feel like life has thrown you blows and God ain't been around. But I've come to encourage you, so hold your head high. Know that God is in your corner now. Inner life, you are a winner. You just can't lose. Who burn a chaos more than a conqueror? Jesus in you. You just don't